through these various religions.
It's leaving Luke Oil, y'all. This morning. It's cold out this morning, y'all. Luke Oil right there. And y'all know on the other side over there, that's Pulaski Middle School that they knocking down, that they tore down. We was on that other side a few days ago. Now we on the other side of Holland Avenue, which is Luke Oil right here. And then you got Silver Campus right up there.
Well, you have to go through the ecumenical council meeting.
Chester Senior Center right there, y'all.
Okay.
James Street alleyway right here, y'all.
You have to go into.
Remember, we was on the other side of James Street Alley in
Before you
Pulaski,
get to
in the back side of it.
fifth council meeting.
But this is Hayes
During
Street.
the fifth council meeting, we're talking about the council.
That's
meeting
9th and Hayes up there.
known in history as the Council of Constantinople II. 553.
And we was down there
The world's first Christian church.
on 6th and Hayes, where them tires was at down there.
532. Built by Justinian and his wife
All right, y'all.
Theodora in 532 and finished 5 years later at 537. Okay.
It's cold out this morning.
Africans created everything, including Christianity, including the image that we know today as Jesus Christ. Everything. They built the Hagia Sophia. They designed it, built it. They were the teachers in that Hagia Sophia church. That was also a university for the European. That was the world's first university for the European. That was the center of learning for the Europeans. Started after 532. Okay.
We listening to Walter Williams this morning, y'all.
Studying with the ancient Egyptians at the time of antiquity. That's not true. Because the reason why it's not true, there's never been a institution that has ever come out of Greece during the time of antiquity. That's number one. Number two, the Greeks had no alphabet to write with. So therefore, if you don't have an alphabet, how can you have an institution? Okay. Three, the Greeks were uncivilized, illiterate European savages. Okay. So why would the ancient Egyptians, who are a highly civilized people, and they were used as human instruments to civilize this whole entire world, take some illiterate Greek into their temples to teach them? Okay, so let's go back. And I'm going to
Nathan
work my
Wilson.
way up to the Hagia Sophia. But you have to start with the image that we know today as Jesus Christ. The image that we know today as Jesus Christ is nothing but the image of the successor of Alexander the Greek. And I'm talking about Ptolemy I Lagi, called Soter. The word S-O-T-E-R means savior. That's what it means, savior. And that savior, in my book, Historical Origin of Christianity, I will walk you through the progression of history, and you will see where that savior comes into being when you get to Christ, because they called Jesus Christ the Savior. Okay? So,
Still in James Street Alley,
so
y'all.
when Alexander died in 323, his army general, Ptolemy I Lagi, called Soter, took over the rule and the control of Egypt. The Europeans knew in order to rule and control Egypt and the ancient Egyptians, they had to be accepted into the ancient Egyptian sacred society and be made part of it. That's the only way they could rule. Okay? So they were rejected. So this rejection, with this rejection, Ptolemy began to look for a temple in Egypt to accept him to be represented as a deity in the ancient Egyptian sacred temple. So the Greeks could have some type of influence and acceptance into the ancient Egyptian sacred society.
The more you part,
and
yeah.
given the respect that the ancient Egyptians gave their deities, Osiris, Isis, and Horus, etc., and other deities that they paid homage to, their ancestors. Okay? Rejected. So what he did, he found a temple in Memphis, Egypt, that took a composite of two of their deities, Osiris, Apis the bull, and put those two together and came out with Osiris, the name. And they took that name, Osiris or Serapis, and gave it to Ptolemy I, Lagi, or Crozer, Savior. And with that name being given to him came the simulation of Osiris, like spirit. See? So what he did, he tried to, said, okay, he went back to the rest of the ancient Egyptian temples, said, now accept me in your temple as one of your gods, or one of your deities.
Just the Panthers football field here, y'all, for the youth. It's Memorial Park. Just the Panthers football field. That's the pool over there.
They want the same respect that the ancient Egyptian Africans gave their ancestors by way of homage, paying homage. That's what they wanted. Okay? So when this was rejected by the rest of the temple throughout Egypt, Ptolemy I, like he closed all those temples down, closed them all down. And he confiscated all of those ancient Egyptian divine scrolls that was
Commodore Barry
in
Bridge.
those institutions, and he housed those scrolls in the temple in Memphis, Egypt, the temple that made his image supposedly into a deity, which he wanted his image in those temples that he closed down, that rejected him, so that other Greeks could have something of their likeness in those temples. Okay? So once these temples were closed down, the ancient Egyptian divine scroll manuscripts were gathered up and then housed in this temple in Memphis, Egypt. Once those temples were closed down, he did not allow any
Memorial Park pool, y'all.
built by the ancient Egyptians for the purpose of spiritual fellowship. Okay? So what they did, the ancient Egyptians at that point, priests and priestesses, they used their homes for spiritual practices and spiritual communication with each other. Okay? And they also had cemeteries that's the place where they buried their martyred dead. You see, so the cemetery is a sacred ceremonial place to go to at certain times to honor their dead, preceding them. See? So now, when Ptolemy III, you get his one, the grandson of Ptolemy I, like he called Crozer, came along. He built a temple in Egypt, the Alexandria, Egypt, called the Arabian Temple. Okay? And next to that building, the Trajan Temple in Alexandria, Egypt, he built an annex building next to that. The purpose of that annex building being built next to the Trajan Temple was he then went into the temple in Memphis, Egypt, and got all of
J. Lewis
divine
Crozer Library here, y'all.
of our ancestors, the ancient Egyptians, and stored them in that annex building. And that annex building today is called the Great Library of Egypt. And then the Europeans today went on and perverted that event that was created by Ptolemy one lady called, it was created by Ptolemy III, you gave us one. They're saying that Alexander the Greek had a teacher by the name of Aristotle, which is historically incorrect. See, there's never been an Aristotle. There's never been a Plato, the teacher of Aristotle. There's never been a Socrates, the teacher of Plato, supposedly. There's never been a Herodotus. There's never been a Pythagoras. There's never been a Solon. Right. I'm going to prove it. There's never been a Homer. Okay? Okay, I'm going to prove that. Let me go back to this question, right back to that. This library is known today as the Great Library of Egypt. What made it the Great Library of Egypt? It's the divine scroll manuscript of our ancestors' writings in that annex building that made it divine, or made it the Great Library of Egypt. You see? Now the reason why
It's the Great Library of Chester here, y'all.
Any Greeks living on earth by the name of Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Herodotus, Homer, Solon, and Pythagoras, any of those Greek names never existed. Simply because the Greeks do not have an alphabet. See? Well, I'm not disputing the name. The name, you can have a name, but you still can't write. People can speak a language. You know people that can speak a language, they sound an X with their name, for their name.
Benjamin Banneker there.
See? So the Greeks could talk. And the reason why I'm saying that the Greeks, that these Greek names never existed, the question that Walter Williams asked is that if you're going to insist that Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Herodotus, Homer, etc. existed, that I'm not telling the truth, then I ask one question. What alphabet did these Greek names use? Because the Greeks had no alphabet. Well, you're talking about Socrates supposed to existed in the 6th century. Supposed to be the teacher of Aristotle. I'm sorry, supposed to be the teacher of Plato. Plato supposed to existed in the 6th century also. Aristotle is supposed to have existed in the 4th century. Yeah, okay, the 5th century, up in that area. See. So, what I'm saying, and Herodotus is supposed to have come before that, because he was supposed to have been over there before the Greeks got there. That's how they tell and teach the story today. See? So what I'm saying is that the question I ask, how can these Greek names exist or in human form when the Greeks had no alphabet to write with? They said that Aristotle, the sole teacher of Alexander the Greek, wrote hundreds of books. And that Alexander the Greek built this great library in Egypt and housed his books. They said that Herodotus wrote a history of Egypt. Okay? I asked, what alphabet? The Greeks had no alphabet. Okay? To write with. See? So, and the reason why I'm saying that is this, and it's very plain. The ancient Egyptians during the time of antiquity were the only literate people on planet Earth. No other race of people throughout the world could read or write. The ancient Egyptians had 3 forms of writing. All you have to do is go through this Rosetta Stone. And the only thing I use the Rosetta Stone for is to show the 3 alphabets of our ancestors, the ancient Egyptians, such as the Meta hieroglyphics. And the middle alphabet I call the phonetic 1, and they call it the hieratic demotic, European. And the third alphabet I call phonetic 2. See? And once an alphabet has been invented, you can only invent an alphabet one time. That's it. Cannot be invented no more. It's like the chair. The chair can only be invented one time. And you have different versions of a chair. But a chair is a chair is a chair is a chair. Okay? So now,
Joe's plumbing here, y'all.
what happened when the Greeks came in under Alexander the Great? He forced the Greek language on our ancestors, the ancient Egyptians. They in turn learned that language. And by learning that language, they began to write that language by sound. That's what the phonetic alphabet is used for, to write by sound. Okay? And they began to write that language down. Today, they have taken our ancestors' alphabet and said that's the Greek alphabet. When in essence, the Greeks never had an alphabet. You see? So that's the reason why I repudiate Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Herodotus, Homer, and the whole other host of other Greek names prior to Alexander the Great coming into Egypt. Okay?
We on Engle Street, y'all. Coming up on 4th and Engle.
My second point, why the Greeks had no alphabet, is that when Ptolemy one Lagi called Sota did not get his image accepted into the ancient Egyptian sacred society, what did he do? He closed those institutions down. So the Greeks came out of a civilization and a culture that had institutions. He was first thing had respect for institutions because that's where your learning comes from for your civilization and culture. You see? So he would never close down an institution. That's just like a person destroying books. If you are an avid reader, if you know the value of books, you will never destroy a book because you know the value of it. But if you're ignorant of literature and learning and higher learning, you may do anything. So that's my second reason why the Greek names such as Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Herodotus, Homer, etc. never existed. You see? Now, let's go back. In 391, there was a Coptic Egyptian member of the exterior Coptic religious community. Okay? And religious community, I'm using that term in my book simply because they held on, even though the Greeks closed their temples down, etc., and cut off their culture, etc., that they still held on to paying homage to their ancestors, which is Osiris, Isis, Horus, etc. Okay? So, there was a individual who was a Melkite Coptic Egyptian, and a Melkite Coptic Egyptian is an individual that is a bourgeois. Like you have bourgeois Negroes in our society.
Right.
Such
Facts.
as Colin Powell, Condoleezza Rice,
Jesse
those
Jackson.
people, as an example,
And the list
they
goes
are
on.
with the system. Okay? They are not grassroots. Okay? So this individual by the name of
3rd and Engle, y'all.
correct. That's correct. That's absolutely right. So here you come, Theophilus, the same way. He burned the Serapeum temple down destroyed all those manuscripts of his ancestors and our ancestors. Okay? To make way for this image that we know today as Jesus Christ. Because ever since 320, the exterior Coptic community refused to worship this image of Serapis.
Serapis.
Ever since 320 when it was created. Because see, every Ptolemy...
Serapis was created 320, y'all.
Right. 320 BC. Every Ptolemy ruler, Ptolemy means a Greek ruler of Egypt. And
That's when
Roman
Serapis was created.
set on the
320
throne to
BC.
rule Egypt, and was the vicar of Serapis. It's like the Pope sitting in Rome. Sits on this throne. He's the vicar of Christ. So these Ptolemaic and Roman rulers are now sitting on the throne, ruling Egypt as the vicar of Serapis. Okay?
Sunoco gas station right there, y'all. We in back of it. Sits on 291 in Engle.
No, I'm not saying that. The Europeans don't have anything spiritual about them. Okay? So, no, they sit up there. It was a political move. Okay, number one, it was a controlling move. Number two, that they wanted the exterior Coptic community to worship them or accept them. Okay? So they can now be on equal terms with their deity, such as Osiris. You see? So that was rejected. See? So Theophilus burned down the great library of Egypt and the Serapean temple. And the temple, another temple that Ptolemy III, we get his one built in Kanakos, Egypt. The temple of Kanakos. Burn it down. Okay? Etc., etc. Now, 391. Here comes, we're going to come up to the time of Aria. Okay? We're talking about the 4th century. We're still in the 4th century. But see, I don't use that term, I use ABCE. But it's equally, it means AD if you want to use that term. But we're talking about
Mary Street Alley, y'all.
That date I'm giving as time of Theophilus. Okay, 391. Okay. Now we're going to go up to the time of Aria, before Theophilus. During that time, we're talking about the time of Aria. Okay. 319. Now, prior to and during the time of Aria, you had 3 events that led up to the creation and the bringing forth the first ecumenical council called the Nicene Council 325 or the Nicene Homoousios Council 325. Same thing. Okay? Aria said that this image that we know today as Jesus Christ, being known as Serapis, is a created creature, dissimilar from the Father being Osiris. Okay? A perfect creature, but a creature nevertheless. These are the things that, one of the things that calls that Nicene Council come about.
Mary Street Alley, y'all.
The Donatist schismatic controversy was there. Okay? Donatist schismatic controversy is a North African schism.
Trash incinerator burning
among
smoke.
the Africans themselves.
I see that.
See? And that schism came about when one of the members, Bishop Mansourius, turned over sacred writings to Diocle. Who's that? the Roman ruler. Okay? He turned it over. And the other people in the community, such as Donatus and Bishop Secundus, said that he should have martyred himself
Palmer Street here, y'all.
before him, instead of turning those documents over. That caused a schism, saying that this Mansurius was not fit to receive or give sanctity, that he sinned.
Nice money maker here, y'all.
Exterior Coptic religious community did not accept sinners in their society.
Nice money maker there, y'all.
They were sacred writings within that community. Okay? And they did not want those turned over to a European, no matter whether he was a ruler or not. Okay? So that's what the fight was all about, or the squabble was all about. They called the weakness there. Okay? And a split there. That's like in Chicago during the time of Hal Washington. Our African community in Chicago were unified, 100 plus behind Hal Washington. When he died, white folks threw two factions in that community to run for mayor. See? Right. Two African candidates. Knowing that it would split our community and make it weak.
Third and Palmer here, y'all.
It did. And then right in the middle of that weakness came Mayor Richard M. Daley, as the mayor now of Chicago. Okay? Correct. Okay? Now, with this weakness in this community, Constantine seized the opportunity of this weakness of the Donatist schismatic controversy. And he offered and found a member of the Coptic community